Bible says in Matthew 15:11 that it's what comes from the heart
Yes.
that defiles. Does this mean it's okay to drink alcohol, smoke, do drugs, eat unclean foods, listen and dance to worldly music, since these do not defile us spiritually?
No, the Bible doesn't say those don't defile us spiritually. Now, you can't take one verse and build a church on it. Are you following me? A lot of people do that. We've got to study. The Seventh-day Adventist Church has a way of studying the Bible. What is that method? Here a little, there a little, come on, line upon line, precept upon precept. Let's go to Daniel 1 in verse 5. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years. Nebuchadnezzar said, eat this, eat that, eat that. This is the royal diet. Verse 8 of Daniel 1, you know it very well. But Daniel purposed in his heart not to defile his body with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. So eating that which God forbids has a negative effect, yes. But the more important thing to God is the heart of the person. Because you can be a vegetarian and go straight to hell. It is not vegetarianism that saves you, or meat eating that condemns you. It is, where is your heart in relation to God? Are you living a life which says to people, whatever God says, I will do? So if you find out meat eating is bad, you stop. Why? Because God told you stop. Not because it normalizes your blood pressure. Because God told you stop. I return a tithe, not because I'll pay off my house more quickly. I return a tithe because God said return a tithe. The Bible says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. I will not engage in a romantic relationship with that young man who is not of the church. Why? He has a house, he has a car, he has a six-pack, his uncle is the Pope, and his mother is Florence Nightingale. But the Bible says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So there's no possibility of a relationship with him. Our motivation for obeying God is God. When Peter and those men fished all night and caught nothing, in Luke chapter 5, Jesus said, let's launch out into the deep and let down your nets for draft. Jesus was a carpenter. Peter was a fisherman. But Jesus was also God. And Peter said, we have fished all night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word, at the advice of a carpenter, a fisherman will act. Just because you said so. And I do not work on Sabbath. Why? Because God said so. Adam should have told Eve, my darling, I love you. I love you very much, but I will not eat that fruit with you. And she might have said, why? And he would have said, because God said so. Let's not complicate something that's very, very simple. We do it, we love God. And he said, if you love me, do what I say. Don't bring me scientific papers that show that disobedience has more advantages. Do what I say. Do not eat pork. I don't care how nice it smells. Getting through to God's people is like a hammer on concrete. You see, the carnal nature always looking for an accommodation. Always looking for an accommodation. So God says 6, and we say, what about 5.8? God says 9, we say, what about 8? Why are you so hung up on 9, God? Because I am God, and you are not.